Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the homestead. Well, today we are just going to have some fun with this video. We've got lots of fun things going on the homestead, and things aren't so fun out there these days. So I thought it was important for us to have fun today, and we're going to start out in the greenhouse because a lot of the things that we've planted are growing. I'm excited to show you, and we're gonna do a first harvest of a couple different things in here. I thought that you would enjoy coming along with me as I did our first harvest. And then I'm gonna take you into the house and show you what happened to the eggs that we've had in the incubator. So first, let's get started. I wanna show you just how well everything is doing in the greenhouse. This side of the raised bed in our new greenhouse is what we planted first in here, and these are all doing really great. We planted most of these from transplants rather than from seeds, and they're really starting to take off. We have kohlrabi right in here along with some beets. And we have, I think that this is cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. And now we had a couple cold snaps where these guys got a little bit too cold, but it seems like they're really coming out of that and are doing really well. We have some green onions here and some radishes, you guys, that are almost ready to harvest. If I were really anxious, I would probably take one of those out and eat it early, but I want to make sure that they get to their full size before I start harvesting them. On this side, we have some turnips. Now, we planted these from transplants, which we've never done before, so we don't know if they're going to create the bulb on the bottom, but if not, we are going to eat these turnip greens, which are going to be fantastic. This cilantro is absolutely gorgeous, doing so well. Pretty soon I'm going to do one big harvest of them, and I'm going to experiment a little bit with different ways to preserve them. We have harvested one plant to have in one of our dinners. It tastes so nice and fresh. The spinach over here is so gorgeous, and it's ready for its first harvest. So that's going to be part of our day today. I can't wait to take this into the house, and I think that because this is our first harvest and we're so wanting to have fresh greens, I'm going to incorporate these into salad for the family. Now, moving toward the middle of the raised bed garden is our second planting of transplants. So we have more kohlrabi over here, bok choy over here, which is doing so well. I've never grown them before, and they are just so gorgeous and doing so well. These guys are fast growing. Next up down there is more cilantro. I hope that I find a really good way to preserve cilantro, because I think I went a little bit overboard planting them, and we're going to have a bunch. But it's okay that I went a little bit overboard because they really don't grow well over the summer in the heat. So to grow a lot of them when it's still cool and then find a way to preserve them so I can use them for the rest of the year, that is what I'm hoping for. We have a second round of transplants for cabbage and cauliflower. And then on the other side is a second round of seeds that we planted. Now that is turnips, followed by beets, followed by more radishes. Now, the exciting thing that we learned about in our second planting is that there are seeds that will germinate when it's still cold. We planted these seeds when it was just barely above freezing, and they germinated, which we were so surprised about, and they're doing really well, so that's super exciting. So that was all of our second planting, and our third planting was more seeds, which they have started coming up, but I think I haven't watered them enough, and so they're a little bit behind. We have spinach, more turnips, more lettuce, a bunch of radishes, and then more green onions. So I'm still waiting for a lot of these to germinate, and I think a lot of it is because I haven't watered as much as I should have, but they're still doing great, and we're really excited. So let's check out the buckets that we have planted along the side, because a lot of them are doing so well. Let's start out over here by the sugar snap peas. Now these guys are doing really well. They're up out of the ground, maybe 5 or 6 inches. And these sugar snap peas, you grow to eat the pod and the peas all together. You don't throw any of them away. So we won't be canning these. We're going to be eating them fresh. And if we have a lot left over, we will put them in the freezer. We have 1 bucket of carrots that have come up. And the garlic that I planted is doing really well. Also, I couldn't plant those in here in the fall because we didn't have our greenhouse up at that point. But they are doing well. Now here are 2 buckets of carrots that I have planted, and I'm still waiting for these seeds to germinate. But because I've got one going over there, I'm not worried about if they take their time. This is another bucket of garlic. Now I have in one of my raised beds that I've actually kind of forgotten about. I had garlic growing in there that I never harvested. And so all of the cloves in the bulbs that grew started to grow. And so I dug up a big clump of those, separated them out, and planted them in a bucket here. So this is like an experiment for me of garlic transplants. And they're looking okay. I think they'll survive, but they're just getting their roots established in here. I'm still waiting for some of these seeds to germinate, like my artichoke seeds, these sugar snap peas. The multiplying onions are just barely coming out of their papery part, but the transplants are starting to do real well. We've got chard. I put these in when they were teeny tiny babies, and they're doing well. But you guys, look at these. This is some gorgeous, gorgeous lettuce that is ready to be harvested. I have 2 buckets. Today I'm going to harvest 1 entire bucket, bring it into the house, wash it, and have that available for the family to eat over the next, I don't know, 4 days to a week, depending on how long it lasts. And we're just going to enjoy the heck out of that before I come out and then harvest bucket number 2 over here. And so we'll be able to alternate by the week, I think, harvesting from these and then having lots of fresh lettuce to add to our meals. Also today we're going to be harvesting the kale from here that is ready to come into the house. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so happy to have fresh food, fresh veggies coming out of the garden already this spring. These transplants are doing well. We've got parsley, 2 buckets of Brussels sprouts, chard, Kevin's tomatoes. These are a cherry tomato called Gardener's Sweetheart. He's so excited. He's been protecting these from any kind of cold weather. They're doing well. More kale. Celery that I started from the bottoms of the celery stalks at the grocery store. These are organic. They're doing well, guys. They have some new growth there. I'm happy about those. And then some more buckets of seeds that haven't come up yet. 2 buckets of zucchini and 1 bucket of the yellow crooknecks. Now that it's kind of warming up a little bit here in southwest Missouri, Kevin and I are going to start moving some of these cold weather tubs outside to live and to grow, like the Brussels sprouts and really a lot of these that are in tubs that are cold weather plants. Kevin and I can bring in new buckets for some of the warm weather plants that we want to start and grow in the buckets and start here in the greenhouse. So that's something that hopefully we can get to in the next week or so, and that is exciting too. Well, the time has finally come where I get to harvest all of this gorgeous lettuce. I've got a big bowl here. Hopefully it'll all fit in there so I can take it in the house, get it washed up, and start adding it to our meals. Now this lettuce is a variety of seeds all together called Rocky Top Mix from Baker Creek, and it's fantastic. It's a mix of leaf lettuces and head lettuces that you can harvest as leaf lettuce. Now the advantage of growing leaf lettuce or harvesting it leaf by leaf is that it continues to grow and continues to produce food for you versus cutting it off right down by the dirt so it can't continue to grow. I love this. So that is the last bit from that bucket. And I pressed them down in this bowl pretty tightly, and that is a nice looking gigantic bowl of lettuce from this bucket. I'm really excited to get this in the house cleaned up so we can start eating this. But that's not all for harvesting today. We've got 2 more things to go. Next up, we are going to give this kale a haircut. I've got several different plants in this bucket, and we're going to cut them, the leaves off, until we get to some of the pretty young ones. Now, some of this kale we will use to incorporate into our salads, but we will also cook some of these like greens, maybe with a little bacon grease or home rendered lard, and it is going to be very, very yummy. Now, if I have an overabundance of kale this year, I plan to dehydrate the leaves and powder them so that over the winter I can add that good nutrition into soups and stews and that kind of thing. I hope that I can really utilize everything that we grow this year and make it stretch over the rest of the year. I'm proud of this basket of kale. I think we're gonna really enjoy that. Now you can see over here on the plants that I really just gave it a haircut, and I left most of the small ones here. I took the larger ones, and really in no time this is gonna fill up again with brand new leaves. This is one of the advantages of having multiple buckets. You can trim down one bucket and leave the other one and just keep moving from bucket to bucket. And by the time you get to the end, say you have, 4 buckets or so, by the time you get to the 4th bucket, your first bucket is ready to harvest again. And so that's what we're hoping to be doing, is learning about that perfect timing between planting and harvesting so that we can just keep having this fresh, not only in the spring and summer and stuff, but because we have this greenhouse now, we can grow these types of things over the winter and continue having fresh, nutritious greens. Now, the final thing that we are going to harvest today is the spinach. And it is absolutely beautiful and definitely ready for a good haircut. Now, spinach again is one of those things that you can harvest basically leaf by leaf, and then it will just continue to grow. And so I'm just gonna get started harvesting this spinach. We not only like it in salads, but we like it cooked and incorporated into pastas and all kinds of dishes for meals. Just leave these small ones here. Just make sure you leave these small ones. So I did quite a number on these spinach plants. I left the small leaves so that they can grow up big and full again. But look at this nice bowl of spinach. Isn't that awesome, you guys? Oh, just look at that. That's just filled with all that gorgeous spinach. And it's just so different to have the homegrown spinach versus the spinach from the store. It's just so mild and not gritty. It's just good. I can't wait to get this in the house. But speaking of going in the house, let's gather up all of our harvests, take them in, and then we'll show you what has hatched from all those eggs that we put in the incubator 3 weeks ago. Well, we're back in the house, and it's an exciting day because today I get to show you what we here have been waiting for 3 weeks. About 3 weeks ago, we went to my friend Delyn's house, not only to see a lot of her chickens set up, but also to get some fresh hatching eggs so we could expand our chicken flock, our egg layers here on the homestead. Well, just 1 day ago, the eggs started hatching. We had 18 from Delin. I put 3 of ours in there too, and out of 21 eggs, we had 19 hatch. I'm so excited to show you all the babies in the incubator. They're ready to come out of the incubator and go in their temporary tub until they're big enough to make their transition out into the brooder. But before we take them all out, let's take a peek. At first, we're gonna have our baby chicks in this big tub here. We have a top for it with some chicken wire on top. But we're gonna have them here in the house. We can make sure that they're safe and warm before we transition them out into the brooder. But I just wanna show you this quick setup. It's nothing fancy, just a tub we got from Walmart with some bedding in the bottom, a feeder here with some feed for them already, and just a little waterer here. The heat lamp that we have will set on top of the lid we have, and will keep them warm. And you can see Bubba here. Bubba loves baby chicks and baby ducklings and baby quail. So he's here. Yeah, and you're paying attention to me, huh? He's here waiting to see his babies come out of the incubator so he can just keep an eye on them. He comes by, you're ready for your babies, aren't you? He comes by the little inside brooder and checks on them many times a day, and he just loves them. He's such a little protective chick daddy. It's so cute. So let's start getting these guys out of the incubator. They're still up there, aren't they, Bubba? Yeah, they're still up there. You want them to come out, huh? Yes, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. You ready for them to come out? Yeah? He's been hearing them for a day now, and he says it's time for them to come out, for your babies to come out. Yeah. Okay, let's get your babies out, Bubba. Let's get your babies. They're not in there yet. They're not in there yet. Okay, we're gonna take them out of the incubator, but I have Kevin helping me because if I just take the top off, they're all gonna start jumping out. So I'm going to open up the top a little bit and he'll start taking them out and putting them in the new little brooder that's in the house.
All right. Ooh, those are pretty.
Yep.
One thing I've noticed as they're hatching is that there's a super nice variety of colors. Now this is the one from the bantam egg. We only had one of the bantam eggs hatch. We only had 2, but this is the bantam, which for those of you who don't know just means small chicken. Oh, this one's got fuzzy feet.
Oh. Oh.
Fuzzy feet. This one's got fuzzy legs.
Gosh, there are a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good hatch. 19 out of 21.
It's funny to see when we're so used to raising the broiler chickens, and these guys are so much smaller and lighter.
But compared to quail chicks, these guys are huge.
Right. Alright, there's the last one.
They're so cute. Now we had 5 copper marin eggs and all 5 of them hatched. But I'm not an expert on identifying chicks and what breed they are, so we're just going to have to find out. Actually, my friend Delin might be able to tell me. But since they're just in here for the first time ever and they've never had a drink before, I'm going to take some of them and dip their little beaks in the water so that they know where it's at. There you go. And now Hopefully more of them will catch on. Tiny little bantam. Oh, that one's eating already. Tiny little bantam chick. There's the water. Yes. I'm just going to try to do that to most of them. This is a little brown one. Looks like most of the chicks have black feathers, but a couple of them have brown feathers. Look at this one. This one reminds me of Easter. Yellow with some gray. Aw. You need a drink too. Okay, I'm gonna put the top on here. We've been using this system and this exact tub for probably 6 years or more for the same situation. And then the heat lamp. Go right there. Keep them nice and warm. Those your new babies, Bubba? So you guys, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in the greenhouse for our very first harvest. And I hope you enjoyed seeing the baby chicks for the very first time. We're so excited to raise them up and have them produce some amazing eggs for us and our family. If you're enjoying our videos, make sure to subscribe, and the very best thing that you could do to help us here on the homestead is to share our videos with people that you think would enjoy them. And until next time, thank you so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care and God bless.